Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the May 2026 TRAC Committee meeting. And as you know, TRAC is a significant commitment, and I'm grateful to everyone who serves on the committee. And what we know is at times life takes us in different directions, and which may prevent continued participation. And unfortunately, I'd like to sincerely thank three members for their contribution and service who are stepping down, and that they are fairly new members, and that was Leanne Scheider, David Mitchell, and Emma Kelleher. Um, and we wish them, we thank them for their time that they did give us, and we wish them all the best in their future endeavors. Um, and then now I'd like to do roll call of the members on the call. Um, Mark Boyce, I understand, is not going to be attending today. Maxwell Johnson, can you hear and can we hear you?
I'm here.
Okay, good, thank you. Is Conrad Langenheim on now? Not yet, I guess. Roman Shorbaco,
I'm here.
thank you. Uh, Peter Ray,
I'm here.
oh, great. Hi, Peter. Susan Dargish, she's on the, she was muted, I know, for a while. Um, we'll count her as here, but on mute. Jay James,
Yes.
hi, Jay. Kimberly Rankin, I saw Kimberly. Can you hear us, Kimberly? Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, good. There you are. So, like a little bird. Uh, Stuart Westerman. Okay. All right. Well, some of them may join us as we progress. Okay. Now, the first part is public comment. And during the meeting, the public can provide public comments via telephone by calling 1-305-224-1968. And the meeting ID is 837-138-2732. Individuals will be able to speak for 3 minutes during the public comment period. And again, to make a public comment today during the meeting, members of the public should call 1-305-224-1968 for meeting ID of 837-1383-2732. The second option allows the public to submit written comments prior to the meeting by mail to PSTA. And the third option allows the public to submit comments via email before the meeting at publiccomments@psta.net. Juan, do you know if we had any public comment?
No, we didn't receive any public comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is my chair report, and that is at the board meeting, the board did approve two key action items. The first item, the board authorized the CEO to proceed with ferry vessel purchases funded by a $4.85 million grant. This includes the previously approved Bay Breeze, as well as two additional vessels, the Candy Stripe and the San Juan Clipper. Then the second item, the board approved a task order with HNTB not to exceed 300,000, and this will advance the Alt-19 Premium Transit project into the project development phase in support of potential funding through the Capital Investment Grant Program. We had heard about that program. And then the last point is that the next board meeting is scheduled for May 27th, next week. And the meeting will also be available online if you would like to watch it. And like I always say, it's really very interesting to hear their discussions and then to see how that affects what we are doing. So. Okay, then the next item on the agenda is the Forward Pinellas report, and we still do not have a CAC representative. I think I've mentioned there are two of us on this committee who are on Forward Pinellas Bicycle Pedestrian Committee, but we need to have someone who can be the CAC rep, because it's always very good to have transit representation in the Citizens Advisory Committee for Forward Pinellas, so that they're always remembering how important it is that transit be taken into account in their decision making. Okay, then we will proceed now with our first information item, which will be Bonnie Sato, Director of Mobility, who will present on mobility contracts that will help provide funding for our mobility programs. So is Bonnie on the call now?
Yeah. Oh,
Hi,
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Thanks so much, Gloria. Good afternoon, track members. I'm Bonnie Sato, Director of Mobility Services. We can go to the next slide. And the information item, I know this says recommendation, but the information item I have for you is to go over the procurement for on-demand services. So tomorrow morning, I'll be bringing contracts with Z-Trip, formerly known as United Taxi or Bay Area Metro, Lyft, and Uber to the Finance Committee for approval. So I know it's late notice, but if you or someone you know uses any of our on-demand services, MOD, Healthy Hop, TD Late Shift, TD Tampa Bay, or Direct Connect, please come to the Finance Committee meeting tomorrow to show your support for these services. Next slide. So PSA has been operating innovative on-demand services since 2016, and we're actually the first transit agency to partner with Uber. Our programs have really evolved over the years, but we're currently offering 5 on-demand services. We have our first mile, last mile service, Direct Connect, our Healthy Hop service, which offers seniors trips to health destinations in Tarpon Springs. That's covered by the city of Tarpon Springs. Our TD Late Shift service, which provides overnight service to second and third shift low-income workers. And TD Tampa Bay, which provides TD riders with life-sustaining cross-county rides between Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Pasco counties. Both TD Late Shift and TD Tampa Bay are covered by the Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged, or CTD, grant funding. And then we also have our Mobility on Demand program, which provides on-demand rides for paratransit customers. And that program is partially funded by grants. Can you go to the next slide? So these services have really transformed the lives of riders that use them. Riders can accept overnight jobs and know that they have a safe way to get there with our TD Late Shift service, or get to like a last minute doctor's appointment with our Mobility on Demand program. The quotes that I have on this slide are from TD Late Shift and Mobility on Demand riders. The riders of these programs really know that they're unique to PSTA, really grateful for these services. These programs really are a part of PSA's core business rides to our low income and disabled riders. Next slide, Juan. At our board budget workshop on Friday of last week, I did share this graph which shows the history of the total cost of just our Mobility on Demand program using Uber, Lyft, local taxi, and local wheelchair providers. Next slide. But the Mobility on Demand program is only one part or one program within the mobility division as a whole. We have, like I just went over, many other mobility programs. Actually, the largest, the highest cost program for the mobility department is our traditional paratransit service, PSA Access. And on this graph here, that's shown in pink. So we have Mobility on Demand in the blue, PSA Access in pink, and all of our other costs as a division are in green. And that includes our other programs like TD Tampa Bay, Late Shift, and Healthy Hop, Direct Connect that I just went over. We go to the next slide. Commissioner Nowicki had suggested that we end our MOD program during that budget workshop and only offer the PSA Access service to eligible customers. if we did get rid of the mobility on demand contracts and that program, we really think that nearly all of the users on this lower cost service would switch their rides to the higher cost PSTA access program shown in this forecast on the graph here. While we know that some rides wouldn't occur if only pre-scheduled service was available, I really do think that the vast majority of rides would switch over to PSTA access and be done at a greater cost to PSTA and Pinellas taxpayers. The cost per trip on PSTA access really is nearly double the cost of a ride on mobility on demand. Go to the next slide. Back to our RFP, we did issue an RFP for these services, all on-demand services on March 6th, and we received 6 proposals from Onward Rides, Userve, Lyft, Uber, Z-Trip, and TransDev. Procurement staff entered into negotiations with Onward Rides and Userve, but we didn't move forward with these vendors due to their pricing not conforming with our budget. The 3 remaining vendors, Z-Trip, Uber, and Lyft, were deemed fair and reasonable. We're already working with these vendors for our on-demand services. If we have one more slide, go to the next slide. This is a slide I'll be showing tomorrow for approval for finance. But these programs have been very successful. Riders love the service, value, and appreciate these programs. They give riders a sense of independence and improved mobility. These programs also allow us to provide these services at a lower cost per trip. Our Mobility on Demand program also frees up capacity on our PSTA access service, which allows for more trips overall for our paratransit riders. These programs are also well known in the transit community for cutting costs and improving mobility. And in fact, our Uber contract is our Uber contract that we have at PSTA is their #1 piggyback contract out of all their contracts. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Let me look and see if, does anyone have a raised hand here? I don't see any raised hands.
Conrad.
Beg your pardon?
Conrad?
Oh, is Conrad's hand up? Okay, Conrad?
What's the criteria for that $6 ride between counties?
Our TD Tampa Bay service. So the eligibility criteria right now, riders have to be in our TD program. Access riders can apply also through the mobility department to join the TD Tampa Bay service. Once you're enrolled, you talk with a member of our team on the mobility team to see how, what life-sustaining trips you need that are cross-county, and we can get you set up with a provider.
So, okay, so what is considered life-sustaining?
So the life-sustaining trips are food or access to food, medical, work or school, and then I think there's another category for like job training or access to something that you need for either a medical appointment or training for a job.
And what are are you able to use your wallet to pay for that?
Not the PSTA access wallet, no.
And
If that's what you're referring to.
yeah, and what days does it operate, and what is the for example, MOD I can call and get a ride in minutes, so to speak. What's the lead-in time, and what are the operating hours?
Yeah, so for the TD Tampa Bay service, it's open the same hours as MOD, so 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But what's different about TD Tampa Bay is riders need to contact the provider directly. So we would, the mobility team would set you up with a provider of your choice, but you would hail those rides directly. Like if you chose Uber, you would use the Uber app to hail those rides between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I got a comment. Bonnie, I did not realize that, and I should have, that the MOD is actually a lower cost to PSTA than using the access for some of those rides. And the one piece I would add to that is it's also, there is some, in some cases, lower risk or liability, because what happens is if you have people who don't normally ride in the wheelchair vans, they can't easily get into the wheelchair vans. And I've seen that happen where I've already been loaded into an access van and they've had to unload me on a street to get somebody into one of the manual wheelchairs to get them up to the bench seat in the van.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, you know, if they could have been using, you know, a wheelchair or a taxi type of situation, it would have been a lot safer as well.
Definitely. I agree.
Any other comments or questions for Bonnie? Mr. Miller. Hello, Brad Miller, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, track members, for listening to Bonnie's presentation. I just want to kind of clarify, I asked Bonnie to kind of give this presentation to you all because, I think there's several members of the track committee that have been riding PSA Access for a very long time, and the connection necessarily, either that you have been using the Mobility on Demand program or even not, or just the regular PSA Access, there is a connection. The idea, really the impetus behind the Mobility on Demand program before, a while ago was that the PSA Access program was being oversubscribed. Too many people were requesting PSA Access, and there just was not enough capacity, and that was leading to issues with the vehicles not arriving on time and a lot of issues. And so what the Mobility on Demand program does allow is extra capacity at a lower cost than if we were to buy more vans. And like you said, Gloria, there's issues with loading many different people onto those vans anyway. This just allows us to add additional capacity, providing more mobility, and then the incremental cost of these rides is a lot lower than it is on the PSA Access. So I don't think a lot of people know that, and so we wanted to kind of alert you guys to this before we talk to the PSA board. I think we'll be okay with the PSA board, and there's general support for this, but yeah.
Oh, no, that's helpful to know. I didn't realize after this, so thank you, Bonnie. And thank you, Brad. Okay. Oh, I see Conrad has his hand up again. Conrad, is your hand still up or up again?
Well, I have a question. I don't know if I'm who is the correct person? I'm having a problem with riding the regular bus with people loading their e-bikes and these little what do you call those
The scooters?
the scooters and those big bags, the wheel, those things that those carts that people carry around and.
Okay, well, Conrad, that's a very good subject, but can we hold that until the end when we do members?
Oh, okay, all right. I just want to. I don't know who if they can figure out whoever it is, and then I can address them on that. Okay.
Well, and in fact, Juan can be your contact point.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Okay, well, I think that's it for Bonnie, and I think, thank you, Bonnie, and next
you.
time. Thank you. And next on the agenda, we have Jacob Labutka, Planning Manager, who's going to give us an overview of the Transit app, some of the new features, and explain how we can report issues to the PSTA staff. So I'm looking, is
Yeah,
Jacob?
I am here. Thank you. Thank you, Gloria. And good afternoon, everybody. So again, I'm Jacob Labutka, Planning Manager here at PSTA. I recall that there was a lot of discussion about trip planning and transit app usage at last month's meeting. So we thought it'd be a good idea to add an information item to this month's agenda about both transit app use, about transit app and real-time as a whole. So I'm going to provide just a brief overview of the various ways that you can access real-time information, but we do have a guest star with us today from Transit App. It was supposed to be Beth Resta from the partnerships team, but unfortunately she had a last-minute issue come up. But instead, we do have the equally wonderful Fabia Tortolano, who is from the Transit App team and is our partner success manager. So she's going to take on the most of the presentation today, walking you through the various features of Transit App. So, but before that, next slide, please. I'm just going to provide that brief overview of all of the various ways that you can access our real-time information. So I have 5 different ways listed here. So first, you can, and of course this will vary just depending on if you're on if you're on your phone or if you're on a computer. Most of these you should be able to access through either phone or web browser, though some will certainly look different from others depending on which platform you're using. But first, you can use the tracker on our website, psta.net. And so it'll look like the image on the top left where you can put in either your stop ID or use your location. And it'll show you the closest stops and routes to you with real-time departure information. As many of you likely probably already know, we of course also have our text service as shown in the image on the top right, where you can text PSTA and the bus stop number to 41411, and then it'll immediately respond back with a text showing the next bus arrival information at the corresponding stop ID. You can, of course, also use ridepsta.net, and on the bottom of the screen, you can see the image. There's a screenshot from the website. Some of you have likely used that as well, where you can go by stop ID or route to see relevant stop real-time information. You can, of course, call PSTA's info line at 727-540-1900. Or lastly, you can, of course, use various trip planning apps that incorporate our real-time data like Google Maps and, of course, Transit App. That's been our endorsed trip planning provider since going back all the way to 2017. So on that note, I'm actually going to transition over to you, Fabia, to walk our fabulous track committee through the various features of Transit App to make sure that they are aware of the full functionality of the app. So I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you everyone for having me here today. I'm Fabia. I'm the Partner Success Manager for PSTA at the Transit App. And Transit App is an app for real-time information, alerts and service updates, trip planning, and a ton of other features in order to make sure that you're getting to where you need to go. Next slide, please. So when you open up the app, the first thing you're going to see is your home screen. This will display where you are at currently. So from here, you can take a look at all of the nearby routes, or you can tap the green bar to plan a trip, search for a specific line, and that will give you all the nearby options and countdowns for next departures. You're going to be able to swipe left or right from each route to be able to view different directions, so southbound versus northbound. And along with that, you're able to see when that bus is coming, which direction it's going in, and as well as the stop name, as is displayed here on the bottom left. If you take a route a lot, for example, I live near a bus called the 55, I always want to have updates on it, and I want to have it at the top of my ledger, you can pin that line. So it's easily done just by tapping the pin icon, and then you can modify this at any time and even have service alert subscriptions by accessing your service, the settings menu. Next slide, please.
Where
Service alert. Yes.
the pin icon is?
Yes. So go back to the previous slide, please. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner where it says southbound Forest, there is a real-time indicator, and then above that, there is a pin line indicator. So there will be a little pin icon at the top that will allow you to pin the
There.
specific
Okay,
line.
thank you. Now I see it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If we can continue, yes, thank you. So service advisories are provided by PSTA, and when an alert is active, it will see it as a little exclamation mark on the route itself. You can choose to receive push notifications for the pinned routes. So if you want to have notifications during rush hour, Monday to Friday, of a specific route that you're subscribed to, you're able to set that up in your settings. If you don't work 9 to 5 during rush hour, you want to customize that, there is also the ability to do so. If you go to the next slide, you see here an example on the left-hand side of what it looks like if I'm, say, waiting at a stop. I'm able to see all the different vehicles that are coming. So I see there's one in 2 minutes, there's one in 7 minutes, 13 minutes, and the ability to take a look at the full schedule. So we all have the ability to see real-time vehicle locations. This is provided by the real-time information PSTA provides, as well as users who are using the transit app. This is provided by the Go Trip Companion. This is a way for people to use the trip planning functionality to get step-by-step transit directions and notifications for their trip. So if I wanted to plan from A to B, I can tap Go and I will have notifications as to when to go onto the bus, when to get off, how many stops do I have left. And this also supplements the real-time information by showing little emojis. As you can see, there's a taco there. It'll show you where that person is, and it'll provide that real time. So we have some additional trust in that bus location. Next slide, please. In addition to the real-time information that we provide, there's also additional route information by tapping on the route itself. So those ETA cards that we were looking at previously, and also the ability to scroll down and see a list of stops and tap the stop to see nearby connections at that location. You're also able to change directions by swiping right or left. Next slide. And finally, we have the ability to plan a trip. So you can compare trips side by side. You're able to tap results and you can reverse the directions as well. So in this case, we have a couple different ways of getting to the place we need to go. We have the ability to prioritize walking or deprioritize walking. We can adjust walking speeds, and it will always give you the fastest way to get to location based on the real-time information as well as the convenience.
Great, thank you for going through all of that, Fabio. We really appreciate it. So to conclude today, I am going to, Juan, can you stop sharing your screen? Because I'm going to share my, thank you. I'm going to share my phone screen just to quickly go over just two quick things that may have not been evident in the presentation, including one. Let's see if I can get this up and running. All right, looks like everybody, all right, I can see my screen, so it looks like you probably all can too. All right, so of course, I've opened up Transit app. I'm on the home page. I did want to briefly go back to how to pin a route. So say I take the 52 a lot, what I could do is just tap on the route and it's going to take me to the route information screen. So on the top right corner, you'll see a few icons like the X to exit the route. If I tap this pin icon, this is where I can adjust my settings for the pin. So I can say I never want to pin the route. I want it to be at all times, and that'll be, if I need to enable notifications, get out there. Or I can put in custom hours for receiving notifications for that route. And then you can also receive push notifications for service alerts as well. In addition to this, and this is a very specific comment I discussed with Gloria and Jay at the last meeting. So if you are ever in this app and you want to know what a bus stop ID is. All you have to do is just click on the stop icon, and it's going to give you that stop information, including the stop name based on the location. It's going to give you the stop ID number, in this case 3662, and it'll just give you the estimated arrival time based on the real-time information. So just wanted to provide that just in case you didn't know. And then conversely, if I'm on the home screen and I know a bus stop ID number, you can actually type in the bus stop ID number. And so it looks like it's also bringing in, I'm guessing that's probably a heart ID number as well. But we know because of our color coding and the fact that this says 34th Street, that this is the stop that we're interested in. So I can either add that stop to my favorites, get directions, or show the nearby lines. So just wanted to provide a little more interactive details on those features. And lastly, so if any of you ever have any issues while using the Transit app, if there's a real-time issue or some sort of user experience issue, I would encourage you to send that information to the track email, and please include as much information as possible, whether that's the trip information, the bus number, and any screenshots. And so that way I can work with Juan to troubleshoot it, whether it's a real-time issue or a Transit app issue, and we can, forward your comments over to the appropriate parties. And so with that, myself or Fabia are happy to take any questions that y'all have, and I'll pass it back to you, Chair.
Thank you. All right, let me see what I see. I don't see, I see Susan has her hand. Okay, Susan, can she be unmuted?
Perfect. I might have missed hearing it. With all of the trip planner, does that include, sorry, I've got my bicycle bag, so I'm gonna have a picture. Does that include bicycles as well as walking and adjustable walking speeds? Can you say I ride my bike about 10 miles an hour, and can the planner factor that into the equation?
Yes, so we actually have turn-by-turn directions as well for biking.
Bikes, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize for missing that.
No worries. Thank you for your question.
That's it. I can be muted again. Actually, I'm not in a noisy place anymore, so, okay.
She was on a bus at the start of the meeting, so.
I was.
Yeah.
I
Wonderful.
have to go sing in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think, oh, okay, I see Conrad and Jay. Okay, Conrad, go ahead first, and then Jay. Conrad, we can't hear you. You're still muted. There
Can
you
you hear
go.
me now?
Yeah, yes, now we can.
Does the real-time information show if in other words, if a bus is coming and a person's waiting there with a bicycle, does the real-time information show if there's already two bicycles on there, or if there's, in other words, does the person know if they're going to be able to ride a bike and get on the bus?
No, thank you for your question. Unfortunately, that is not a feature that is available. So we just don't have the sensors on board that can provide that sort of real-time information. And Fabi, I guess you could speak to this. I'm not sure if that's something that's currently within the user platform.
No, not for bikes. We have crowding information, so you can see how crowded a bus is based on the amount of riders and that input, but not for bikes.
Yeah, that would be helpful as far as wheelchairs are concerned in the future as well, because that's where I'm always like, there have been a couple times, especially on the 62, where they said, we can't pick you up, there's already two chairs on the bus, so. Thank you. All right, let me go to Jay. Jay?
Yes. I guess I could have sent an email about this, but I honestly forgot until we started this call. I run into the issue all the time with the using the direction feature, whatever you called it, on Transit, where if I start a trip and I go to another app, when I come back, the trip is gone. So it's like this is why I often just use Google, because at least on Google it'll stay. Like whenever I start a trip on Transit app, I have to stay in the app to continue to get the information. I don't know, is that an Android thing? I don't know what the issue is, but that's what happens to me literally every time I do it.
Okay. If you would be able to send myself or Jacob an email, we can take a look into it. My only question would be if you're hard closing the app or if you're exiting out of just the functionality.
I don't even hard close. I just go to, you can switch to different app.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go to a different app. I never close it, and when I come back, it's gone.
Okay. Definitely send us an email and then we'll take a look at on the back end.
Yeah, if you could send that to the track email, and then we could certainly make sure that's sent to the appropriate parties. I will say, and I'm not sure if this would be the reason why, and it's probably something you've already thought of, but I know when I've had issues like that in the past, it's just because my app hasn't been updated, which I thought that I was set for automatic updates, but apparently on some apps I'm not. So just something else to keep in mind as you're troubleshooting.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Gloria, I think you're still muted.
Sorry, I don't see any other hands up. Again, I think, basically what you're saying, Jacob, is if we have issues, we need to send them to the track email,
Yes.
or can we send it in an email to Juan or to you, or probably the
No, I mean, I'm certainly happy to be included on emails for related to Transit app, but we also just want to make sure I'm just in the track email just so we know, they're all in one place, just in case somebody were to forget to include me or something like that.
Good. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I mean, I think we all, I know I have issues, but I'm not going to go through. Those are very detail oriented issues on the app. So, thank you. And I need to play with some of those features that you showed us today that I was not aware of, the pinning and so forth. Okay. Well, thank you very much. All right, well then I will go to the next item, which is again you, Jacob, and you are going to present the upcoming June service changes.
Yes, I will. Yeah. And then thank you again, Fabia, for joining us today and for walking through the Transit features. We really appreciate it.
So much for having me.
If we all stare at the screen hard enough, it will appear.
Well, this one has started.
Did it come through?
No, it just says you started screen sharing, double click to enter full screen mode. It's good. We can say this is my fault since I decided to do a fancy phone screen share.
Let me stop sharing and let me share it again. Is it showing now?
Oh.
It is not.
Jeez Louise. Let me see. I just closed the presentation and started.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. All right, let's see if that fixes the situation.
Oh,
All right, perfect.
Nice.
All right, great. Thank you, Juan. All right, so this is going to be a really quick presentation, but just wanted to provide an overview of the service changes that are coming down the pipeline in June. We certainly I think, started establishing a precedent during the CCBN process to keep you all kind of more in a detailed fashion in the loop on service changes. And while this is certainly obviously not a system redesign, we certainly want to make it a practice for if there's notable routing or scheduling changes to ensure that you are all in the loop before they go into effect. So just wanted to provide just a quick overview of some of those major changes. So first up, probably the most major change is that we are going to be breaking up this 4-route interline of the routes 22, 54, 62, and 73. And an interline is essentially a scheduling technique that's often used for operational efficiency. So when an operator leaves PSTA, they will, if they're driving one of these routes, their run will include parts of all of these routes. So say they start as the 22, and then when they get into Tyrone, they might turn into the 54, and then eventually the 62, the 73, and so on. So this was something we tried out that was recommended to us from our CCBN consultant team for some operational efficiency. So we did try it out, but we have noticed in the first few months of the CCBN operation that because there's just so many route dependencies, this being a 4-route interline, we have noticed some on-time performance issues on these routes. So we determined that the best course of action to improve on-time performance while also ensuring some of those operational efficiencies was to break up the interline. Oh, sorry, is there a comment? Anyway, so starting in June, we're going to have 2 separate interlines. So it's just going to be the 22 and the 62, and then routes 54 and 73 will be 2 separate interlines. So again, we can have some of those operational efficiencies, but it won't be a 4-route interline. So as a result, we anticipate the on-time performance improving on some of these routes, and it's certainly something we're going to be monitoring immediately after this goes into effect in June. Next slide, please.
We just finished Williams Park and it was successful.
So this one is a very specific and minor routing change. It's honestly in some ways not even a routing change. So this is an image of our Route 16 as it is routed in downtown St. Pete. So the route does currently end at the 3rd and 3rd in downtown St. Pete by the Publix. However, it does make the loop south of 3rd Avenue South for each trip. So say I'm coming into downtown, it's going to go to 6th Avenue South and then end by that Publix on 3rd Street. But then when it starts the trip again, it does make that loop again and goes down to
actually still more than an hour
south.
technically.
And so I think we have heard a few
I think best
comments
case
that
scenario
it
is
can be a
last
little
minute.
confusing for some riders, especially if you're wanting to go
But
back
I'm gonna ask
towards
them to
Gateway
give me the
Mall.
program so we
You have
can
to
put
pay
it in
very
the
close
email.
attention
We
to
can
the
deploy
head
it
sign to see if the bus
stay ahead of
is
it
going to be
this week.
ending in a few stops when it gets to
Yeah, I
Publix,
just wanted to say
or if
hi.
it's going to continue on to Gateway Mall. So by making this improvement, it's no longer going to do that double loop. So the bus will come in from Gateway Mall.
See you tomorrow, man. Appreciate you.
Downtown, serve 6th Avenue South by the Innovation District, by where some of the hospitals are down there. And then the route will still end at the Publix. But then once it heads towards Gateway Mall, it's just going to continue on to Gateway Mall and is no longer going to do that double loop. So this is something that will go into an effect with the June service change. Next slide, please. And lastly, we're just implementing a series of slight running time and schedule adjustments on the routes pictured here in the image. So on Route 22, shown in green on the map, all eastbound trips are just going to start about 5 minutes later. Route 34 shown in blue. We have heard some comments from riders about the Route 34 not running as late as it used to on Sundays. So we're going to be adding 1 additional trip in each direction on Sunday nights on the 34. On routes 49 and 52 in purple and pink respectively on the map, those routes are just going to have some slight running time adjustments. One of the major ones, particularly on Route 49, is we have, of course, time points along our routes to ensure that they remain on time, but many of our time points have to be on-street time points. And so something that we're doing is we're just reallocating some of the running time in routes like the 49 to minimize the amount of time that the bus has to remain on street and to make sure I can just kind of pass more through the time points on street rather than lingering for a prolonged period of time. And lastly, for Route 59, shown in red on the map, so all we're doing there is that the last deadhead trip of the night is now going to be in revenue service. So when the bus, as it is operated today, comes back from Indian Rocks Beach, it drives pretty much along the existing Route 59, but it's in what's called deadhead service. So it is not picking up any passengers, and it's solely, just bypassing all the stops nearby. And I believe this was actually a comment that came up at a previous track meeting. And so this is something that we definitely heard from y'all, and it was a low-hanging fruit opportunity to be able to provide additional revenue service within our existing operations. So now we've taken your feedback and have incorporated it into this service change by making this deadhead trip a revenue trip. And so that is pretty much it for the June service change, but I'm happy to take any questions y'all have.
I see Darden has her hand up. So Darden, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I wanted to thank Jacob for his presentation. But also, I especially want to thank our track members because a lot of these changes, as Jacob said, did reflect what you all have mentioned to us. And I know sometimes you wonder when you pass along information, like, did we do anything with it? What happened? And I hope you can see that there's a number of changes here that we really did get a lot of feedback from you guys. And I just want to thank you because that's our process working, and that's why we're here. So thank you.
Thank you, Darden. Okay, let me see, are there any other hands up? I don't see any hands up. Does anyone else see any hands up? No.
I don't.
Okay, well, very good. Well, thank you again for that that excellent for listening to the feedback and for that excellent presentation.
Absolutely, and thank you all for continuing to provide us with needed feedback like this.
Thanks, Jacob. Okay. And then the last item on our agenda is we did have a very productive discussion regarding the 727 and the potential changes that would affect Route 100. And so Devin Deal, Planning and Data Analyst Manager, will provide additional details. So again, is Devin on the line?
Yes. Hey, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Track Committee. My name is Devin Deal, Planning and Data Analyst Manager. It doesn't look like this is the updated presentation, but that's okay. So I'm here to talk to you about the 727 Airport Express today. I know we brought this item to track last month, and as you said, Chair, there was very productive discussion among the track members. This project also has been a priority for the Department of Transportation for quite a while, providing good airport service from Pinellas County to TPA. And with the opening of the new express lanes on the Howard Franklin Bridge, this gives us a really good opportunity to provide that service. This has also been a priority for our riders. I know that doing outreach for years, I know Juan, myself, Jacob, the planning team, throughout outreach, we've heard for years from our riders about better connections from Pinellas County to Tampa Airport and into Hillsborough County. And that is what we are trying to address with this project. Next slide, please. So first of all, this is the routing for the new 727 Airport Express. If you look on the left, you can see in that small map, the route starts in downtown St. Petersburg, and that will be the only stop, the only area that it stops between St. Pete and TPA. The route will start in downtown St. Petersburg, and looking at the image on the right, the route will come in and loop around to the pier where the 100 lays over right now. And as it's leaving downtown St. Pete and heading back to 275, it will pass the Summerner station at First Avenue South and First Avenue North and First Street to provide an easy transfer from the Summerner. And that's also about 3 blocks from our large transfer point downtown at 3rd Avenue South and 3rd Street. So this bus will serve a few stops in downtown St. Petersburg, some of our key locations at the pier and the Summerner station, and then it will go straight to the interstate and take 275, utilizing the express lanes, all the way to TPA. With no stops in between, this will provide competitive travel times to car travel times for our riders. So it won't take you much longer than it would to drive a car to the airport from downtown to take the bus. And we know how important that is for our riders and how important that is to gain ridership on a service. Next slide, please, Juan. We also heard concerns from our track members about riders who are utilizing the 100 today and how they would be impacted. We have been doing outreach for a few months now to riders on the route. We've spoken to 88 riders on Route 100, and what we've found both from outreach and the data is that most of the riders, not all, about 2/3 of riders begin their trip in Tampa in the morning and they commute into St. Petersburg. And then we see they do that reverse trip in the evening. So about 2/3 of our riders are originating in Hillsborough, coming into Pinellas for work, travel, other purposes, and then going back into Hillsborough in the evening. About 70% of those trips are for work, and almost half of those riders use the route every single day that it operates. The 100 operates 5 days a week today, and over half of the riders are utilizing that route every single day. We also know about 58% of those riders are transferring to another HART or PSTA route to complete their trip. So I think clearly we know that removing service on the 100 will impact the riders who utilize that service today. We are trying to mitigate that by, right now, the Route 300 will not get you into Pinellas County as early as the 100 does from Marion Transit Center. So whenever we implement this 727 service, to make up for those early morning trips that will be lost from Tampa into Pinellas County, we're adding a few trips on the 300 that will begin earlier. The first trip will leave Marion before 5 in the morning. So our riders who are coming from Marion Street in Hillsborough can get over into Pinellas County to PSTA, and you can transfer to Route 4 to continue your trip down to Gateway if you took the 100 there, or the 4 will take you all the way down into downtown St. Petersburg. So we are trying to mitigate the impacts on those riders from Route 100. And additionally, the 727, based on the schedule that we've put together, we can operate about every hour and 20 minutes, maybe every hour and 30 minutes. So this service will operate more frequently than the 100 and 300 do today, and provide that consistent connection 7 days a week into Hillsborough County at Tampa Airport. We also know that our riders who are utilizing this service, they have options to transfer at TPA. If they were still coming from downtown St. Petersburg, they could take the 727 to TPA and transfer to some HART routes to get over to Marion Street, or even PSTA's 300. And if riders were going to Britton Plaza on the other side of the Gandy, they could also transfer to HART routes at Marion Street to complete their trip into Gandy. And so we know that this will impact riders, and we are attempting to mitigate that with additional service on the 300 and a few other things, so that we can make sure that this 727 service that we know our riders and the public are excited about is a success. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions about this service.
Thank you very much, Devin. Again, let me see who we've got. Any hands up here? No, I'm not seeing any hands up, which is really, considering how much conversation we had on this before, it's...
Jay has their hand up.
Jay, okay. Oh, there we go. There's Jay. Yes, thank you, Jay. Go ahead.
Yes. I would say, oh my God, can y'all hear someone in the background? They were talking really loud. Okay.
No, you sound good.
Okay. I would say that while I appreciate like the aspects of the 727, like being able to get the TPA 2 different ways now, both on the 300 and the 727, it is a little like being able to go from Gateway to Britton Plaza to do transfers was a real benefit, because there are, quite a few transfers that one can do in Hillsborough at Britton Plaza. Like you could transfer, if I'm, there's some transfers that I used to do, but I don't work in Tampa anymore, so it doesn't affect me as much as I used to. But I know that when I would be on 100, it would be a lot of people getting on and off at Britton. Holy cow. I'm sorry, my cat wants all my attention right now. Of course, when I'm talking. And I'm just concerned about those people losing access, because what's being suggested as a mitigation sounds like a super roundabout way. Like, oh, I need to go to Britton Plaza. Okay, well, now you have to get to downtown St. Pete, or to Almaton Road to get the 727 or the 300, get to the airport, then take a bus from there to Britton Plaza, or if you want going to downtown Tampa, stay on the 300. That's extra steps that one doesn't have to do today to do that. So Gateway is one of our, one of the main, I don't know, main is the right word, but one of the bigger transfer centers we have. So now one has to get to the lay-by to get a 300 if you're not in close to downtown St. Pete. It's just a couple, I don't know, issues that I have with that.
Thank you, Jay. Devin, do you want to talk more with Jay, after the meeting kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay. Yeah, then you can, understand what's being asked. Okay, good, thank you. All right.
Looks like Susan has Susan's waving her hand.
Oh, is she? Okay, where's Susan? All hard to see.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I'm sorry. I know there's a facility in Zoom where you press a little button. I don't know if I have the capability on my phone. I don't see a menu for it. Really quickly, because I wasn't going to say anything because the presentation on the 727 seems to convey that all of the concerns we expressed last month are not worth the time we spent on them, I guess. So I wasn't going to say anything because I was kind of frustrated at where this presentation went. But what I'm wondering is at this point, what we're saying, we're offering two different ways to get to the airport from Pinellas. One of them for people who live in downtown St. Pete and for people who live along the Sunrunner route. Because for anyone else, the likelihood that they're going to take public transportation or have someone drive them into St. Pete so they can get on a bus to go up to the airport. I love taking buses. You won't catch me doing that. So I imagine there's going to be I don't know. But my question is, rather than ranting, is I just really quickly checked routes, and there is the 9 bus goes out around Wheaton Island from Gateway. Would it be possible as an experiment, with the understanding that there might be a huge hullabaloo, to have it an on-request additional scoot over the Gandy Bridge to drop on West Shore and turn around and come back? So adding a bit of a drive to the 9, but enabling people in Pinellas to get across the bay, because I don't question your data on the current ridership of the 100 being more Hillsborough citizens than Pinellas, and why are we supporting Hillsborough citizens and not Pinellas citizens? But I know when I commuted on that sucker every day, and I went from North Reddington Beach, rode my bike across the county, got on the 100X, got off and rode the rest of the way to McDill. That 100X was vital to me to be able to do that. I feel like I'm just very disappointed. So I just thought I'd ask if that was even in the realm of the possible for the 9 to pick up at least just getting people safely over the bay to where they can pick up a Hart bus, rather than take the express bus up to the airport and then take a Hart bus down Marion Transit to get to another bus to get to wherever they wanted to go. That's it for me.
That is certainly something the planning team will explore. I think an on-request service, I don't think we would do something like that, but we're certainly looking at options to mitigate that impact for our riders who are using that service over the Gandy Bridge. We're also talking with the Hart planning team as well about ways to mitigate this for our riders who do need those services over the Gandy and the Britton Plaza area.
At least until we have a ferry.
Right. Okay,
Thank you.
Jay, I see your hand is that still up, or is that a new
No,
one?
it's a new one. I just want to be clarified there. This would make it, you can also get to the airport on the 300. So on Ormondton as well. So I just want to, it's not just, it had to be in downtown, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we also have about, I think it's 13 bus routes that converge on downtown St. Petersburg and maybe 6 at PSTA. So you don't necessarily have to live on Ormondton or in downtown to be able to utilize either of our airport services. We have routes that cover most of the county that get you to a location to catch one of them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Devin. Okay, now I don't see any other hands. So thank you very much, Devin. I appreciate your presentation.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay. So, other business, is there any other business that we need to discuss? I know that Conrad had a question earlier about the additional devices that people are bringing on the buses. Did you want to add any more to that comment that I had you delay till now?
Yeah, times change, and we're always in things that used to be are no longer, and now there's new things. And we didn't used to have electric bikes or electric motorcycles, or maybe we've always had people with all their belongings, pulling them in a one of those metal carts or what do you call those little things you pull behind you? Had
Shopping cart,
no, not a shopping cart, a
Wagon.
wagon.
wagon. Well, these wagons that these people have now, they're humongous. Now, I may be wrong, but I believe that I'm entitled to be able to ride the bus and utilize that handicapped area. I don't believe. No, I don't care about those people that want to get on the bus with those things and utilize that area. But in my opinion, if it comes to me riding or them blocking the area with their big old carts, they should be asked to leave and allow me to get on, because yesterday and today, bus drivers denied me the right to ride almost, because they were claiming that they were full, when the only reason they were full was because one of these people had one of these great big old carts. And I'm lucky enough that my wheelchair is adaptable, that it can get a real low footprint. Had I been in a regular wheelchair, I would not have been able to negotiate to get on that. When I was getting on the bus, I said to the bus driver, she's not allowed to block the walkway with her cart. And his response to me was, if you can't get in that area, you have to wait till the next bus. And I don't believe that's the policy. I mean, I don't see anything. If anything, she has to get off the bus and wait for the next bus, because she's not allowed to utilize that area to put her shopping cart or wagon or baby stroller or whatever. She is required to not block the area, and it stuck out so far that anybody passing had to turn sideways.
Okay, let me ask, like Darden, is Darden still on, or does anyone know?
What I can do, I mean, I talked to Conrad about this yesterday, and I'm gonna be working with SS&T to see what are some of the things that they tell me, to see what are some of the solutions. Maybe it might be additional training to the bus operators, but that's something that I'm looking into right now, just to get a better understanding, because I know that, just like Conrad mentioned, there's new technology, the scooters, wagons, and so we just want to get in a better understanding on what the policy is, so that we inform our bus operators and also our riders.
Because the scenario as it was explained to me is, well, we can't really ask anybody if they're disabled or not. So you can have people that are aware of that policy, and I'm sitting there waiting at a bus stop. There's no other wheelchairs, and so two people want to get on the bus, and the bus driver doesn't load me first, which makes it easier if he loads the wheelchairs first. So those two people, if they decide they want to sit up front and deny me a right to ride, they can just get on the bus, take up those seats, and then I can't ride, because the bus driver can say, well, I can't make these people move because I can't ask them for their disability. And to me, that is just ridiculous and stupid, that somebody that can just get on the bus, that's sick, lame, and lazy, and knows the policy, and then I have to suffer.
No, I hear you, and I think they've heard you. Let me go. In fact, I see Mr. Miller has his hand raised. Did you have a comment on this, or?
Yeah, just a comment that it is your comments about the larger carts and things. PSA has an official policy that carts and strollers and then are supposed to be collapsed and specifically are not allowed to be blocking the aisle that you were describing, Conrad. So I know it's very difficult for the drivers, the operators, to consistently enforce that when people bring those big things on there. They're supposed to. It's right in the policy that they are supposed to keep the aisle clear.
Well,
And
then.
so that you can reference that.
Well,
Anyone can.
no, but that doesn't, that they still won't lower the ramp, so how am I gonna get on? And then I'm left and they still say, well, they were here first. They, and instead of saying,
know.
well, instead of the bus, if the bus driver has enough gumption or whatever it is to say, no, you can't ride because blah, blah, blah. Why can't they tell them, hey, well, and then I got to call in and I got to complain and then I don't get to ride and I got to sit out there for another hour or half hour or whatever in the hot heat and everything because bus drivers don't want to do their job.
Okay, Conrad, it sounds like there's a training issue involved. That from what Mr. Miller is saying, there are rules in place and they're not necessarily being implemented correctly. But thank you for bringing that up. And I'm sure all of us have had some similar kinds of experiences. And I think it's very important. Thank you for bringing that up.
And then I have one other thing. There is a program called the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Program. We in Pinellas County at PSTA, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, do not participate in this program. However, they do participate in this program in various other municipalities and states and what countries and whatever. And it's kind of like the Safe Place program. We participate in the Safe Place program. I would, whoever the appropriate people are, they can Google the Hidden Sunflower Disability Program, and in Hillsborough County, you can receive a free lanyard with the sunflower on it, and it will designate you as a person with a disability that needs additional help or maybe a little bit more time or it may not be readily seen by anyone that this person needs some help. And I think it would be a benefit to keeping PSTA on the cutting edge so that all people with disabilities, even those seen and unseen, can be identified so that properly trained drivers can realize that maybe there are some people there that need additional help.
Good, thank you. Darden, I see your hand is up. Did you have a comment on that again or no?
I just wanted to thank Conrad for bringing that program to our attention. Sorry, for some reason I lost my screen. But I wanted to thank Conrad for bringing that to our attention, and it could be something very useful as we have had discussions in how we work with the autistic community and some of the misunderstandings that result from people not realizing that someone's communication style may reflect that they are neurodivergent. So thank you. We'll look into it, and I really appreciate the lead. Thank you, Conrad.
Thank you, Darden. Thank you, Conrad. Okay, now let me go to Jay. Jay, you have your hand up?
Yes. Two things. I think you talked about this years ago, but it's been a minute, so I want to bring it back up. On the new buses, we have those nice, vibrant, giant screens that tell you the next stop and like some other information. Can we add bus numbers on there? Because they block, right now we have the bus number printed at the front of the bus, but these new screens block that unless you're literally standing next to the bus driver. So like if you want to say there's an issue with the bus or like whatever, like cleanliness or whatever it is that you have an issue, you can't just sit and keep at your seat to report it. You have to literally get up, go to the front of the bus, find the bus number, then go back, or wait till you get off the bus and try to find the bus number on the back of the bus or whatever. It'd be amazing if the bus number could be displayed on the routes, the stop screen that we have, those nice, giant, beautiful, vibrant route screen. All this space, and there's space that's there that can have the bus number. um, that's one thing. It would be really nice. Um, the second thing, I know we're moving on from it, but like I have seen an increase in use of the wheelchair seating areas for things that are not wheelchairs. So, and it is concerning that people who are using these things for things that are not wheelchairs, and specifically are not using it for accessibility issues, like the wagons or whatever, or like the e-bikes. I've seen people put e-bikes in the wheelchair areas on buses on the non-cylinder buses. That this is allowed and prevent people who have accessibility needs from using the space. It is concerning. And I want to make sure that we're not violating the ADA by doing that. Because like if this is supposed to be for people who have accessibility needs to be able to have a nice safe space to sit, and if we only have 2 spots, so if we're taking up one of these spots or both of these spots by wagons or by e-bikes or by things that are not accessibility needs, it is concerning. I would just say that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and Juan, I'm sure you're making note of that, so you can talk with operations on that. I as a person who is in those wheelchair spaces, I mean, as long as they're not letting me on the bus, that's a concern for me. Is just that I don't want them to not pick me up because of that. But if I'm not on the bus, then I'm fine. Okay. Any other comments? Thoughts? Okay, I don't see any. Okay. Well,
Yes.
then I think we're going to
Yeah.
adjourn the meeting. Actually, let me real quickly again, Mr. Miller or Darden or Juan, does anyone have any other comments or thoughts?
I'll just want to repeat that, any comments that you have, send them our way. We have the track email. I know I've been working with Conrad on both of the issues he brought up today, so that way we get a better hold of what's happening out there, and then also if there's something that we can do to address that issue or the issues.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
All right.
And again, think about, we talked about, we do need a Forward Pinellas representative or a representative from track to go to Forward Pinellas. So think about that as well, if you would consider volunteering for that. Okay, with all that said, then this meeting will be adjourned. The next meeting will be again on Zoom, and it will be on June 16th at 4 p.m. So
Can I just ask one quick question?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, there was a question?
Can we get another update at our next meeting about the boat?
About the ferry?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big, long presentation, just a 2 or 3 minute thing of this is what's going on, this is what we've done, this is what we're gonna do. It doesn't have to be anything big hoopla, just, well, we're in the same place we were last week. We haven't gone any further. It'll, just a
An
short.
update? Okay, and I don't think you would have to wait that long. I can just gather some information for you and send it as an email to all
Okay,
track
thank
members.
you. Thank you.
Brad, would you want to give a 2-minute quick update?
Well,
You
sure.
have great news to share.
Oh yeah, a 2-minute update. So the PS80 now has we got approval and we have confirmation that we're going to be purchasing 2 ferry boats. One is operating in Seattle and one is operating in San Francisco. And next week, the Hubbards, who we have from Hubbard's Marina, who we contracted with, are going out to Seattle and San Francisco to inspect them. And then hopefully in the month of June, we will be they'll be shipped over to our side of the United States, and we'll have those vessels. They will be spruced up and painted in Fort Lauderdale this summer, and the docks in St. Petersburg and Tampa will be set up late this summer, and we hope to get this up and running starting in the fall. Don't know exactly what the passenger fare is going to be. We had hoped that it could be $10 a ride fare, but diesel fuel prices, if you've noticed, are really high right now, and so we're talking to our ferry operators to see about maybe we need to set up like a fuel surcharge. Maybe if the war ends and fuel prices go down, then we can lower the price. But other than that, that's my 2-minute update.
Can we use our wallets for those? And if not, can we maybe set that up so we can do that?
We can look into that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All right. Well, have a wonderful month, everyone, and we will see you then on June 16th. I'm sorry, was there someone? Did I hear someone else?
No. Sure, say bye.
Oh, okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
My birthday was last week.
Well, happy
Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
74.
Wow.
There you go. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.